Hi, everyone. Welcome to our second Ledn Check-In. I'm Andrew Rapsey, and I'll be the host/producer for today. I'm going to bring Adam, our CEO, Maurizio, our CSO, and John, our CIO, onto the stage. Hello, gentlemen. Nice to see you guys again. I just want to remind everyone who's watching, this is really an opportunity for our community to hear from key members of our management team, and you get to ask them questions directly. And this is just another example of how Ledn is winning clients through our commitment to transparency. Now, based on the feedback from our first check-in, we've tweaked the format slightly here today. So we have some questions in Spanish, but most were actually in English. So we're just going to answer all the questions here today versus having a separate Spanish Q&A. We're also going to focus more on the Q&A portion versus announcements. As our clients know, we've got a monthly email that our clients receive with all of the exciting product news and announcements from Ledn. But before we get into the Q&A, I did want to give Adam and Maurizio the floor to just give a brief state of the nation. So over to you guys.
Awesome. Thanks, Andrew. Great to be back here. I wanted to update everyone on what it's been like since we last chatted on beginning of March. So we've been super busy. The team at Ledn has been hard at work. We know time and time and again, our clients tell us more and more transparency, accountability, and regulation is a massive theme of what the digital asset sector needs. So we've been focused on exactly that. On the transparency side, we came out with the open book report. For those that haven't had a chance to read it, this gives you really detailed information as to how we're utilizing client assets, how much is sitting in custody, and how much is lent out, both for Bitcoin and the other asset we support, USDC. On the accountability side, we want to put our money where our mouth is, and we've completed our 5th proof of reserves attestation. So this has been done with a network firm, the exact same team that's completed our proof of reserves attestation in the past. And we'll continue to do that every 6 months. And then on the regulatory side, just a few weeks ago, after almost 2 years of hard work, we received our Cayman Islands VASP approval. So this makes us a regulated entity in the Cayman Islands, a jurisdiction that's been a leader in financial services for many, many years, and proud to be offering the products from that region. And then on the product side, we've got several new updates. We introduced Ledn Transfer. So this, in a time where everyone is concerned about high fees, especially on the Bitcoin network, you're able to transfer for free to friends and family. And you can do this account to account through using a Ledn hashtag, or you can do it through your friends or family members' email. You can even do it for friends or family members that don't have a Ledn account yet, and an easy way to get them to create a Ledn account and transfer that way. So we're excited to see pick up on that product. It's really helping clients in specific regions of the world, especially our LATAM clients, move their funds, again, to friends and family really seamlessly. One other update that we're launching is our Ledn dual cryptocurrency notes. So this is a way to take a directional view on the price of Bitcoin, and either by depositing USDC or Bitcoin, depending on the outcome of the price in the future, you'll receive one of the other assets back. And it's a way to get above market yield in current market conditions, and again, take a directional view on how you think the price of Bitcoin will perform. So we're excited to roll that out internationally. Right now, that's in the testing phase. We've rolled it out to a select group of Ledn clients. If you're interested in being a Ledn tester, feel free to contact us at support@ledn.io, and we'd love to have you on board as part of our beta group. But look for that in the next couple of weeks. All right, awesome. Andrew, into it.
Yeah, just quickly, I'll say I just came back from Miami, and it was so great to see so many of you down there. I got a chance to speak to many of you and shake your hands. It was my first in-person conference this year, so it's always great to hear everybody and get their feedback. And do please keep the feedback coming. We love to hear it, and it helps us keep getting better.
Awesome. I couldn't agree more, Maurizio. So yeah, let's get right into it. We'll start with the Q&A. So as a reminder, all of these questions were pre-submitted. And then if we have some time, once we get through the pre-submitted questions, we'll see if there are any live questions for those listening to or watching the live stream. So the first question, Adam, we'll give this one to you. will loans become available again in Quebec?
Yeah, so happy to take this one, Andrew. I think, just wanted to give a bit of perspective on what, from, again, our view, what's going on in the regulatory framework in Canada. We would say definitely the Canadian regulators have done a fantastic job of regulating the exchanges and brokerages. So years ago, they introduced the crypto asset framework that, again, allows exchanges to be registered within the local provincial regulators. So if you're located in Ontario, that's the Ontario Securities Commission, and various regulators across the province, depending where you're operating the business. I would say for a business like ours that does have a trade product but focuses more on the lending and savings products, that regulatory framework is developing. So we've been in active discussion with the regulators, but there's not yet a regulatory framework in place that works for certain of our products. And then when you take it a step further, the provincial regulator, depending on the province in Canada, there's additional licensing required to provide the lending products. So for us, it's a cost benefit analysis. Obviously, we're trying to work our hardest to service all of our clients we can globally, but there's an investment required to do that. And so we'll take it in the order that we can provide. So looking forward to circling back with residents of Quebec in the future. But unfortunately, given that framework that I just spoke to, don't have a specific answer today.
Awesome. Thanks, Adam. John, I think the next couple questions are for you. So this person's interested to know, who are the borrowers that allow us to pay a constant rate on, or that allow us to pay a constant rate on stablecoin deposits?
Thanks. I'm happy to take that question. So it's a really good question. How are we able to pay rate on stablecoins deposits, period, is through lending. So we're very different from most of the players that still remain in the industry in that we have a very strong, large, growing retail loan book. And so we are able to lend the dollars that are put on deposit with us to our retail clients who over collateralize their loans from Ledn. So for every dollar that someone borrows from Ledn on the retail book, they post $2 worth of collateral with us. And the rates that we're able to lend at in the market, which are competitive market rates, allow us to pay our depositors a yield and earn a spread that allows Ledn to keep the lights on and pay our staff. So we're in a very privileged position that we have the retail loan book. Any additional US dollar deposits that we have in excess of our retail loan book, we will either hold in custody for operational purposes in order to be able to service new loans that come in from new loan demand that come in from retail clients, or for withdrawal requests that may come in so that we can service those. So we'll always have some US dollars on in custody or in the banks if we have excess earning capital or earning interest. And additionally, we will, if there is still excess dollars available thereafter, then we will lend them institutionally. But we're in a position right now where our retail loan book growth is very strong. And so all of our dollars right now are being used to service that retail loan book. So it's a net interest spread that we're able to earn. So just to summarize, we're paying yield to our US dollar depositors, and we're earning larger yield in lending that to our retail client book.
Great, thanks, John. I think this next question flows nicely from that answer. So how can you offer a 9.5% yield on USDC while other platforms are below 3%?
Yeah, and I think this kind of goes back to the answer that I just gave now, is that unlike most of our competitors that remain in the marketplace, we have retail loans as the core offering that Ledn has as a service. Whereas most of our competitors are using those to either invest in market making or invest in trading strategies or lend institutionally, where the demand and the prices being paid are just much lower. So we are lending right now at somewhere, depending on where you sit and what the regulations are, between 11 and kind of 12%. And so we can pay 9.5% yield and earn that that net interest margin spread.
Great, thanks, John. Next question, again, I think it's for you. How can I see the collateral ratio for loans and stablecoins to pay interest on deposits?
That's a really great idea, and a great question. It's a question that should be asked whenever you're looking at investing your capital with a company like Ledn or anyone else in the market. We've recently launched what we call our open book report. We're trying to provide as much transparency in the marketplace as we possibly can, so that people can make informed decisions. So when you look at our open book report, you would see that our collateral ratio on our US dollar loan book is around 225%. So that means for every dollar that is loaned out, we've got $2.25 in collateral. However, that's a blended headline number, and you really want to peel back the layers a little bit more to make sure you're understanding the nuances within there. So while, as I said, we have the vast amount of our loans are taken up with our retail loan book, and that's about 91% of our loans are retail loans, and so that's over collateralized. And the average collateralization ratio for our retail loans at the moment is 245%. However, we do have some small institutional loans that are also in the book, and those are uncollateralized, and that's 8% of our total loan book. So the blended collateralization today is 225%, and that's all going to be in our open book report.
Awesome, thanks, John. Yeah, highly recommend for anyone who hasn't had a chance to read our May open book report, give it a look. A really next level of transparency from us there, and excited to add this collateral ratio to June's edition. Maybe we'll give John a little bit of a break, and now maybe we'll kick the next one over to you guys. So what's the average size of client deposits?
Yeah, happy to take that one. So as you know, we service clients from all over the world. So there is a lot of nuance or say variability around the average size of deposits, depending on where in the world the clients are. On average, what we see, and we've broken it down here, I have the data here for comparing North America versus the rest of the world. So for North America right now, our average deposit size on the USDC savings account is $26,000. On the Bitcoin size, the average deposit size is 0.4 Bitcoin, and that's in North America. And the rest of the world, the average deposit on USDC is $19,000 USDC, $19,000, and then 0.3 Bitcoin as average on the savings accounts. Just to speak briefly on the loan side, because that's on the savings side. On the loan side, we do see about 40% of our loans, in terms of number of loans that we issue, go out to Latin America. And just, you know, I've said this before, but predominantly we saw, or we still see today, a larger share of clients with larger sizes on average on the deposit account from say the investor markets. And then in the rest of the world, we see a robust demand for loans, just because some parts of the world just are more axed to find places to get a higher yield, and some parts of the world just need better services to get a loan faster, which is what we do in Latin America.
Great, thanks, Mal. I think this kind of question flows from more at the client level to more of the aggregate level. So what's Ledn's total AUM, and how did it change over the last 2 years?
Yeah, happy to chat about that too. So at Ledn, as you know, we support Bitcoin and USDC. So the assets, or the value, the dollar value of the assets on our platform is very highly correlated to those two assets. What we have seen, and this is public information, everybody sees this, Bitcoin today is trading at around $30,000, coming down from about 69,000. That's about a 60% drop, call it, from its peak. When it comes to USDC, circulating supply is down about 45 to 50% from the peak, and our assets on platform effectively reflect both the moves in Bitcoin and USDC. So they've been basically moving in tandem with those two assets.
Great, thanks. Adam, next one is for you. Is there any fixed time frame I cannot withdraw? And have you ever blocked or suspended withdrawals?
Yeah, happy to say we've never done the latter. So we've never paused withdrawals from the Ledn platform. I think as far as timelines, we do have certain timelines in place for a couple different reasons. So on our savings accounts, we allow up to 7 days in our terms and conditions to facilitate withdrawals. Typically, we've never used that time frame, but it is in place to really allow us to properly recall assets if we do have a higher proportion amount lent out. So as you can see in our open book report, currently a lot of our assets are sitting in custody. So we have significant supply available for inventory for withdrawals. But in the event that increases and we have more lent out, that's the time frame that we allow to make sure that we're always 10-year matching. So I think just one quick tidbit, as you can see, a lot of the challenges that occurred with the other lenders in the market was that they didn't properly 10-year match, and that they had assets deployed in illiquid strategies when allowing for open term withdrawals. So that's something that we keep in mind, really top of mind for how we manage and risk manage Ledn, to make sure that if we're making that commitment, we always keep ample supply available for exactly that. And the second piece of the answer would be for security reasons. So if you choose to safe list an address, we do have a 48-hour cooling period, and that's to stop someone from immediately safe listing an illicit address and then essentially blocking a legitimate actor from withdrawing from their own account. So anything that we have in place is really to solve those two things: make sure we have adequate risk management and liquidity, and make sure that we're doing everything we can to protect client assets from a cybersecurity perspective.
Great. Thanks, Adam. You kind of touched on this in the intros, but someone wanted to know, are you regulated, and if yes, by which entity?
Yeah, of course. So we just received our Cayman Islands Monetary Authority virtual asset service provider license. So we announced that a few weeks ago, and we're going to be actually locating more and more of our team from the Cayman Islands to service our clients globally from the region. So very excited and proud of that licensing, given, again, the history of the Cayman Islands as being a financial services center for the world.
Awesome. And then we'll give you this one, and then we'll give you a little bit of a break. So is Ledn profitable now? And is there any fundraising this year?
Sure. So the way I like to think about this is, we've been profitable many months and time periods in Ledn's history. So currently we're making a couple decisions. So right now we do spend more cash than we bring in. And I think the important point is that's an active decision to do two things. One, to reinvest in the growth of our product mix and make sure we can continue to expand Ledn's offerings and service more and more clients globally. And the second is from a risk management perspective. So again, tying back to the transparency in our open book report, you can see that we have a lot of assets sitting in custody. So this is an active decision to not sacrifice long-term profitability or not prioritize short-term profitability at the expense of longer-term profitability in Ledn. So we're saying, right now, the lending conditions, we want to wait a bit longer period to allow the market to fully reset after the FTX disaster, to increase that over time as we're comfortable with the market coming back. So that, again, that affects our profitability, but we're doing that because we feel it's best for our clients, and making sure we, again, always prioritize the long-term success of both our clients and, of course, of Ledn being a sustainable company.
Awesome. Thanks, Adam. Mao, over to you. We've actually got one English question that I think is up your alley, and then we've got two Spanish ones. So prepare yourself.
Sure.
So I would like to make payments during the term of my loan rather than making a single payment payoff at the end of my term. Why is this option unavailable? And I think we've got some exciting news on this front.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I feel like I've answered this question a few times already, because it's feedback that we've received from our clients, not in this forum, but I've spoken to so many of you all that this comes up. And we, of course, when clients speak, we listen. So this is in our pipeline. This is in our roadmap. I don't have an exact date to share just yet, but you will soon be able to do just this. You will be able to make partial repayments to your loan. That's something that we know matters to our clients. And of course, we're in the business of, creating tools that solve a problem for all of you. So it is in the roadmap. I don't yet have a specific date that we can share, but we'll definitely make an announcement when this is coming. It's something we're excited about, and I know this is going to make the product a lot better.
Thanks, Mal. I'm not even going to attempt to ask the next two questions, but if you could answer them in Spanish and then translate them in English for the audience, that would be great.
Yeah, of course. ¿Por qué Islas Caimán y no El Salvador como ha hecho Strike? Bueno, Islas Caimán es un proceso que venimos haciendo desde ya hace más de 2 años. Como dijo Adam, esto no es un proceso que arrancó ayer ni la semana pasada. Venimos trabajando acá por más de 2 años por esta licencia. Las Islas Caimán se movió bastante rápido hace varios años para, digamos, crear este esquema para poder recibir aplicaciones de empresas como las nuestras, apenas entendiendo la gran reputación que tiene Islas Caimán como un hub para hacer sede de servicios financieros. Empezamos a trabajar en esa aplicación desde hace bastante tiempo y se nos dio el registro, ya tenemos la licencia como menciona Adam. Sin embargo, estamos siguiendo lo que está pasando en El Salvador muy de cerca. Es un país al que le tenemos el ojo por varias razones y estamos considerándolo como opciones para posibles expansiones de Ledn o sedes o nuevas sedes regionales de Ledn. Nuestro negocio está creciendo constantemente y siempre estamos buscando opciones para expandir. Así que es algo que estamos considerando. I'll briefly summarize what I just said in English. So the question asks, why Cayman Islands and not El Salvador as Strike did? So the way I answered it is this announcement that we're making on the SEMA registration in the Cayman, it's a process that's been 2 years in the making. We started this process 2 years ago, and the Cayman Islands was actually very quick a few years back to sort of create and put forward this framework. El Salvador is a part of the world that we are looking at. Ledn is constantly growing, and we're constantly expanding. So it's definitely something that we're considering as part of our future expansion plans for the region. But it's pretty exciting to see what's happening in El Salvador and how they're trying to invite investment and activity around the Bitcoin industry to the country. So we'll keep our eyes out, and it is an option that we'll explore in the future.
All right, one more in Spanish for you.
Sure. Hola, ¿hay alguna alternativa al USDC? Sí, es un feedback que nos ha llegado recientemente de nuestros clientes, tanto de Latinoamérica como de otras partes del mundo. Obviamente hay otras alternativas a USDC, no es el único stablecoin que existe en el mercado, también existe Tether, que es bastante popular en la región, es algo que estamos considerando en Ledn. Como ya mencioné, estamos siempre tratando de darle más opciones a las personas para que puedan interactuar con la plataforma. Entendemos que Tether es bastante popular y accesible y obviamente queremos darle la opción a nuestros clientes a interactuar con nosotros en el formato que prefieran. También tenemos la opción, hace poco anunciamos nuestro producto de Prime Loans, que ahora te permite ganar intereses con dólares americanos sin tener que irte a un stablecoin como USDC. Este es un producto nuevo de Ledn. Si quieres aprender más sobre este producto, puedes contactarnos, support@ledn.io. Con mucho gusto te podemos dar más detalles y tan pronto tenga más data en cualquier anuncio que podamos hacer en base a stablecoins adicionales como Tether, pues lo comunicaremos tan pronto sea posible. I'll do the English in a second. So the question reads, hi, are there any alternatives to USDC? So the answer is yes, there are alternatives to USDC in the stablecoin markets. It's not the only stablecoin out there. Obviously, the most popular out there and the one many of you know is Tether. We are, of course, in the business of enabling as many options for people to interact with our platform in the format that they choose. Tether is something that we are considering. We also just launched our Prime Loans in US dollars for qualified clients. This is an option that allows clients to earn interest in US dollars without having to go through a stablecoin. It's a new product offering from us. So if you'd like to learn more, please send us a note. We'd be happy to share more about how that works. And if it's something that suits you, we'd love to get you set up.
Great. Thanks, Mal. Appreciate the answers in Spanish and English there. So Adam, this is the last one of our kind of pre-submitted questions, and then we'll go to the live comments. But this viewer wants to know, what is your backup plan given the increasing number of bank failures and the potential collapse of the U.S. economy?
Yeah, of course. So definitely paid very close attention to what's occurred in the banking sector in the U.S. over the past several months, and happy to state, as we mentioned, during the situation, that we were able to move through and not have any exposure to Silvergate and Signature when those banks did pause withdrawals and have issues. And so through that, we thought a lot about how we hold reserves across different banks. I think the first most obvious answer is we're primarily a stablecoin and Bitcoin supported platform. So we don't broadly hold a lot of US dollars on our platform. It's more just to facilitate different lending and more to make sure that we have ample liquidity to facilitate our loans. So think about the interruption on more of an interruption to payments and flow than a massive loss of capital in how you think about interacting with Ledn. So because that, we obviously want to make sure that we do maintain uptime of all of our lending products and make sure that we can send dollars around the world as quickly as possible as clients take loans. We do make sure we have diversified payment service providers and banking rails to facilitate that. So I think that the short answer to a long answer is making sure we have diversification and understanding and staying in tune with what's going on in the sector.
Awesome, thanks, Adam. Okay, so we actually have one live question that we're gonna go to, and John, I think you're probably the best suited for this one. So is collateralized BTC from B2X or USD loans held for the whole loan duration, or is it loaned out?
That's a good question. So today, as I said, we are our demand for US dollar loans, whether that's in the form of USDC loan or a B2X loan, because the B2X loan requires dollars as well. That's all being exceeded by our supply of dollars through our USDC savings account. So we're going to third parties to borrow additional dollars in order to fund that retail demand. In order to borrow those dollars, we need to post Bitcoin as collateral against that dollar borrowing. So the only use right now for any collateral posted for the B2X and the USDC loans are as collateral posting against the US dollar loans that we're taking from our counterparties. These counterparties are heavily vetted. They have to go through our typical credit underwriting process and our risk management process. But today there's no lending of the collateral, but that collateral is being posted as collateral to our institutional counterparties to fund those dollar borrows. As our USDC loan book or savings account grow, we'll use that to fund the loan book. But while there's a mismatch, we will be posting USDC or BTC collateral that's posted with us. We'll be posting that to our institutional counterparties.
Great, thanks, John. I just wanted to open it up to the group if you guys had any closing remarks before I kind of run through some logistical notes.
I can chime in. I see Carlos is trying to reach out to me in the comments. I can share my email with him or my Twitter so that he can reach out to me. So, Carlos, estoy viendo tu mensaje. I'll find a way for us to get connected. And I guess the other thing I wanted to share is I had a really great time in Miami, and I love seeing people in person. So I just wanted to share our next event. There may be a sooner one, but the next one we're planning to go to will be in Bogota, October 6th to 8th, the Blockchain Latin Summit. I know as some of the comments, many of you are from Latin America, so if you're going to be around, please come say hi. We'll definitely be there, and we'd love to shake hands. I'll say it quickly in Spanish. Para todos los que nos escuchan en español, quería comentar que vamos a estar en Colombia en el Blockchain Latam Summit del 6 al 8 de octubre. Va a ser en Bogotá. Me encantaría ver a todos los que puedan llegar. Y Carlos, vi tu comentario. Voy a buscar la manera de ponerme en contacto contigo. That's it for me.
It sounded really good in Spanish. So,
Gracias, Mauricio. Para mí, gracias, muchas gracias a nuestros clientes. I'll stop there. I'm still in practice. But I think when we created this business almost 5 years ago, actually August is going to be our 5th year anniversary for Ledn. we made a decision early on to make it a global business. And so I think a lot of companies in the space are either US focused or global focused. We have the fortunate situation to be both, and it's fascinating. I've had the opportunity to be in Argentina, a month ago. I was in Dubai in the United Arab Emirates a few weeks ago, and just seeing how people use Bitcoin around the world continues to keep all of us interested and on this mission. So it's a fortunate privilege that we are able to build services that people are making different use of around the world. And the world's a big place, and happy to see many people use Bitcoin in different ways, and happy to be a small piece of how clients are able to make better use of their digital assets. So thanks very much for checking in, and want to obviously thank our team who's hard at work behind the scenes here, and we look forward to sharing more exciting news, specifically with the announcement of our dual cryptocurrency notes in the next couple of weeks. So stay tuned.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. And I want to thank everyone for joining us today. If you have a question and we didn't get to it, we'll be sure to answer it via our socials. As you heard today, we really do listen to customer feedback. So please make sure you follow us on Twitter and Instagram. And for our clients, please do ensure that you check our monthly update emails, as well as subscribe to our weekly blog. We plan on doing these every couple of months, but we are always available 24/7 at support@ledn.io. So have a great week, everyone. Have a great weekend. Thank you very much for tuning in.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Gracias a todos.
Video de James Rodríguez, toma 1.
Es James. James.
En Ledn sabemos lo que se siente cuando eres el mejor y aún así la gente pronuncia mal tu nombre. Incluso cuando ofreces la forma más sensata e inteligente de operar con cripto.
Ledn, cripto con
Es Ledn.
Ledn.
Ledn, es Ledn, James. Perdón, James. ¿Orden?
Ledn, cripto con cabeza.